Hello again, NES Block. My name is Supersonic. You may have seen me run All Night Nippon Super Mario Brothers. This is another NES game that I run called Captain Skyhawk. It is a rail shooter and is one of the games that I grew up with as a kid. So yeah, we're gonna see if we can try to beat Brendan, but we'll see what we can do with it. So we'll get the timer going in 3, 2, 1, go. All right. So this game has 8 missions. There's going to be destroying the base missions, there's going to be cargo missions, then chasing after an enemy plane mission, and saving the scientist mission. And we got to do that twice per cycle. So for the meantime, we have a regular level 1 shooter, so I have to keep mashing the A button in order to keep the shots going. If I hold down the A button like this, it moves really slow. So there is actually a way to level up your gun to level 5, and that's by collecting these currencies called credits. We need to have at least 30 credits before we enter the first section. So I just defeated a group of enemies there, like a group of 5, and that gave me a credit as a reward. So if I end up trying to shoot like a group of the same enemy, as long as there's 5 of them, it'll award me a credit. So we can carry up to 99 credits at a time. And there are other weapons you can buy, like missiles and pretty much various missiles. So here's our first boss fight here. So we have to shoot down these 4 corners here. And once you see that looks like it's blown up, then we shoot the core. And that's the end of stage 1. So as you see on the map there, we destroyed 1 base. And now it'll take us to this mini game where it kind of looks like this Top Gun-esque style mini game. So each kill will award a credit, and these patterns are actually static. You can actually try to kill them as soon as they spawn on screen, which is actually faster to do it that way, but other times I'll end up missing it because I forgot what pattern it's in and whatnot. But each time you start a new run of this game, they will spawn in the same spots all the time, so that there's no RNG involved in this, which is really nice. And I am holding down the gun right now, so even though it is at level 1, with my crosshairs I can still end up shooting down the enemy planes because their hitboxes are fairly large. There will be instances where I will miss them, that's because I'm not aiming very properly, but as long as we finish with at least 30 credits before we head into the docking station, we should be able to buy our first upgrades. Alright, so now we're going to wait for the docking station to arrive. There we go. There's actually a faster strat to do this, but it is very risky. So we'll just go ahead and set our cannon to 4 now, so when I'm holding down the A button, now my cannon's shooting a little faster. So here we are. This is the cargo drop mission. So there's actually 2 cargo drops we have to do. If we end up missing one of them, the level will loop. So we're going to try to get these both in first try. And there's actually a good visual cue to know when the drop station is actually coming. There's a Sphinx that'll be on the ground that we will see right now. I'm going to go ahead and line myself up. And it uses the B button to drop the cargo, and it also uses up a missile, which really doesn't matter in this case. So, because we don't necessarily need to use missiles in this run, because they're not really helpful. It's just better that we just level up our regular cannon to level 5, so we just need 1 more level and it's gonna be really fast. Alright, there's our second drop, and that is our second mission. So pretty much after every mission that we complete, it'll always take us to this Top Gun style mission, and they're gonna start shooting missiles now. It is actually possible to die in these missions as well. The only good thing about it is if we end up getting killed in this section, it'll spawn us right where we left off. It's not going to send us back any, any distance or anything like that. It'll just pretty much respawn us back to where we were. That's the only good thing about the death in this section is, but obviously we are very limited on lives. We are also limited on continues as well. So I just got to be careful not to get shot by any of these missiles here. And so far we're doing pretty good. After I get my last upgrade, the credits are going to be obsolete, so we wouldn't have to worry about them anymore. So we'll pretty much max out to 99, pretty much before I think mission 3. So Alright, so we're going to set up for the docking station again. There's actually a really good visual cue to get inside the docking station right away. But if you end up missing it, then it will be very costly. So, and this is the super fast mission. This can be probably a little bit, I don't know, I guess it causes motion sickness a little bit or something. But yeah, these missions are actually really fast. This is probably the only style stage where you can actually control your speed by holding select and either pushing up or down on the D-pad. We want to try to keep it on the fastest speed because it is obviously faster to do it this way. But if we end up dying at any point in these kind of stages, we just have to hold select and push up to raise our speed back to max like this. So it's just pretty much just kind of watching where you're flying. Even if you try to defeat that red ship, it's going to always respawn again. So I'm actually kind of glad we got a deathless section there. I probably shouldn't have said that, but okay, that's fine. We're good. Those stages are always rough. So it's always going to be on mission 3 and 7, I believe. So yeah, again, we're back to this section. They love to send enemy fighters at us. So I guess the quote-unquote plot of this game, we're trying to destroy the alien base. So the base actually has like 4 generators, or like I guess sub-bases, we would like to call them. So we have to destroy all 4 of those bases in order to reach out to the mothership and then try to defeat it in space. And it is actually very wonky to shoot it in space as well. So yeah, what you want to do in these minigames, you want to try to shoot down these planes as soon as they spawn. It is actually faster to do it that way. So just understanding like the movement as well as like the patterns of where they show up is pretty helpful. So even though we already have our maximum cannon, we just have to go into the docking station anyway and just exit out of it. That's all we need to do at this point, because we got to do these like several more times. So here you are. This is the Save the Scientist mission. It's always taking place in like a sea area. So as you can kind of notice, like the style looks isometric, but it's actually just a vertical rail shooter. So just like your regular shmups, like Raiden or Toho style shmups. So this was actually, I think it's made by Milton Bradley and Rare. So this is like one of the few like earlier games that Rare has made. And it's kind of a shame that there isn't any like music playing like during these stages. Like it just plays during the menuing and like the docking, well, like not the docking station, but more like, oh wow. I just flew into that side without realizing. So yeah, like, if you end up dying like in these stages, it'll just take you back just a tiny bit. It doesn't really send you back very far, which is really nice. But so you kind of cheese the first 2 turrets there. You can just kind of hover over them and then just kind of shoot them down. I don't understand why that happens, but it just looks funny. Like when you're just kind of in front of those 2 turrets and just shoot them down. Only on the front ones, but the back ones, you have a probably higher chance of getting shot down. So. But that's fine. That's our first death of the run, no big deal. Heading into our next mini mission. So we already finished our first cycle, so we're going to head into our second cycle, which is going to be pretty much the same missions that we just saw, just different color palettes and slightly more difficult. Probably not as difficult, but shots will be shooting faster in this case. I'm just going to shoot them down. Watch out for the missiles. Oh yeah, they're going to start shooting missiles from behind now, so definitely got to watch out for that too. Oh, geez. Got a 2 for that. That's pretty good. So there's actually not that many runners for this game. I believe the world record is like a very low 18-minute time by Jacobo the Chocobo. I started running this game after watching Toad run it. And then another good friend of mine, Sin, also ran this game. So my current PB is like a 1952, I believe. I haven't like improved it in like 4 or 5 years now, but I've always enjoyed showcasing this game because I feel like it's, I'm pretty sure it's like pretty well known, but very obscure to like the main audience. So this is like one of the few games that I grew up with. My cousin got me into this game when I was younger, and like whenever we hung out, he would always bring this over and show me how to play the game and teach me how to play it. So huge shout out to my cousin for teaching me And then eventually I learned how to speedrun it, and now I can actually beat this faster than he can, so that's actually pretty nice. Although he's not really much of a speedrunner, so he doesn't really understand like speedrunning really, but oh wow, I got shot at. That's probably like the one downside of just kind of weaving back and forth like this, because the main reason why I do this is because I'm trying to cover as much ground as possible by shooting. Since there's like a pretty fast stream of bullets just kind of flying across, by kind of moving left and right, it's actually have a better chance of mowing down as many enemies as possible, especially when you have like groups of 5. It gives you like a nice chance of getting like credits in case you need them. So as you can see, we already have like 86 credits, but we're not really spending any of them because we already have like the upgrades that we need. So at this point, we're just kind of just trying to get rid of everything. I'm gonna line myself up here. I usually like to start off in the middle first and then shoot the sides and then go back into the middle again. Ah, that's unfortunate. Yeah, as you can kind of tell, like the shots are actually going a little faster, so. There we go. That was a little rough there. But this is still, we got an extra life back, so that's okay. We're still en route to trying to beat Brendan. We have no idea who Brendan is. He's just some dude on the leaderboard. It is actually possible to beat Brendan, as long as we don't game over. What just shot me? I guess they shot a missile right as I was heading into that direction, but it looked like it didn't even come out, which is pretty interesting. But that's okay. We're still good here. But that's also like an example of like, you know, when you end up dying in this level, it'll just respawn you right away. So I guess it's kind of good that it happened there, but at the same time, you know, as I mentioned earlier, like we are very limited on lives. We want to try to keep them as much as we can, especially for the boss fight at the very end, because of the way the physics are. Like while you're in space, like your plane doesn't really have good control, so you're just going to be moving a lot quicker and like very awkwardly as well. So alright, so that's fine. So coming up next is our next cargo mission. So again, just like in mission 2, we're going to be dropping 2 cargo inside the designated spots. So we have these volcanoes here. They actually can't hit me as long as I'm not within their proximity. So we're going to look for the Sphinx again, just like last time. That'll be our indicator of when we're going to be dropping down our cargo. So here's our first Sphinx right here. So I'm going to line myself up. All right, that's number 1. And it also awards you with a credit as well. So in case you want to play this game casually, you want to try to get all the upgrades as possible, like get all the missiles and such, that's one way to do it. And also trying to kill these enemies as much as you can. Looks like they have shoes just kind of floating around. I don't understand like the designs of these enemies really, but you know, it's from the early, like I guess late 80s, early 90s, so you know, imagination is quite grand at that time, you know, when it comes to video games. So, all right, here's our second Sphinx. Gonna go ahead and line it up again. There we go, got him all in first try, so we don't have to worry about cargo drops anymore. So as you can see, we have one more generator to shoot down. That will be the next high-speed chase. And then we got to save our second scientist to complete the second half of the weapon. So you kind of see like the trend, like how the game's layout is. You're just gonna do a main mission, go to a sub mission, enter the dock, rinse and repeat. That's all it is to it. So just like your typical arcade style game, like have limited lives, limited continues. Oops, just missed that one. Yeah, this section always reminds me of Top Gun, like if you see it like from a third-person view instead of a first-person view. Top Gun is like another one of my favorite games, although I wasn't really a fan of the landing sequence. Thankfully, we don't have to land anywhere in this game, so. All right, next docking station coming up. There we go. All right, this high-speed chase is a little tougher. I'm gonna try to focus on this one as best as I can. And plus it's very red too, so. Ah, there's a death. Okay, so since we ended up dying, I'm just holding down the select button and then pushing up a couple times to get our speed back to this. Alright, okay, that was close. Almost got shot. This is totally fine. Alright. I think, yeah, there's like another sharp turn probably. Like once you hear the boss music start playing, that's when you know that so you're technically safe, but you still gotta fight the boss. Alright, boss should be coming up, yep. Alright, there we go. Get the center here. Alright, that's good. Okay, no more high-speed missions. So we got all those 4 generators destroyed. All there's left to do is more of these. So it kind of seems like they always have different color palettes, you know, kind of giving you the vibe of what it's like the setting is of the outside, like, you know, just shooting down these enemies. So it's kind of like a nice sunset kind of aesthetic here. You know, just kind of shooting down these planes. I kind of wonder how they see unless they have headlights on their planes, you know. I mean, I don't know how that would work in the sky, but you can only imagine, you know, being a pilot in this kind of atmosphere, seeing all these enemy planes coming at you, you're like the only one there. Don't have any backup. So it may seem like smooth sailing for the most part, but you know, it's all just routine. All right. So I believe this is the last docking station we have. I thought that was too low. I think that went in. It's kind of funny. You can just pretty much die anywhere in this game. Okay, so this stage, there are going to be these mines in the water. Their hitboxes are very ridiculous. Depending on where it blows up, the debris can kill me like that. So what I usually try to do is I try to hug the wall, like not as close, but I try not to shoot anything down either because that could also trigger the explosions. We are on our last life, unfortunately, but we might not be able to beat Brendan, but this is still a pretty good score, I'd say. But this stage is definitely a huge problem. Yeah, sometimes those tinier particles can just tend to disappear. You don't know where they're coming from. So yeah, we're just not gonna shoot anything here. We're just gonna kind of cruise a bit. Like, not really much you can do about this stage except to stay alive once you get to the boss fight. It's just like in Mission 4. Just shoot down the turrets. Usually I like to start with the front turrets first and then work my way outward and then try to get the back turrets at the end. There is actually this one section where the mine can get me. If I end up getting a game over here, it will take me back to the very beginning of the stage, so I gotta watch out for this one spot here. Hoping I'm not gonna get it. I'm scared. Okay. Okay. As long as I can hear the boss music, that's when I know we're safe. But, to an extent. But. Okay, we heard the boss. Okay, we're good, we're good. So you kind of see like the front turrets are shooting, but they're not hitting me. So it's kind of like a nice sweet spot there. All right, there we go. Okay, so the scientist is saved. We got the second half of the weapon built. And now we got one more minigame to do until we get to the final fight. All right, and away we go. So now this is pretty much the calm before the storm, so to speak. Just, you know, shoot all these enemies down, but we don't really have anything else to upgrade anymore. We have what we need, we just have to get to the enemy base. If we end up dying at the final fight, it is just going to respawn us right to the fight anyway, like after the continue screen. But we would have to shoot all the orbs that are around it, which is fine. Alright, just watch out for the missile. Okay, the missile is shooting from the back. There. There we go. Okay. Now this should be the final fight here. There we go. This is the mothership. Time's gonna be on when screen fades out. I am dead. That's okay. Alright. Yeah, the movement is really weird in this section. I'm just getting really bad patterns here. Alright, I'm on my last life. I gotta beat it here. There we go. And time. So, alright, that's not bad. So we got mission complete, alien invasion, fleet destroyed, and our reward is game over. So that is our reward for beating the game. And we got second place, so let me go ahead and type up the name here. Brendan lives to fight another day. So we'll just call it, we can fit NES Block in this. So, B, L, O. There we go, NES Block. So there you have it. That is Captain Skyhawk on the NES. I hope you all enjoyed the run. And my name is Supersonic, and yeah, that's it for me.